That's why. Okay.
Jesus.
Okay, we're recording.
And we're rolling. And
all right, guys.
All right.
Give me your firstborn.
Firstborn name is Kevin. My last name is Collins. My middle name is Andrew. And then I also go by Lunchbox, but most people know me as Box.
So Kevin Andrew Collins. I didn't know your name is.
I didn't know your middle name. I didn't know your first name for a while. I didn't know your last name up until maybe a couple of weeks ago.
Most people don't.
Kevin Andrew Box. Lunch Andrew Box.
Lunchables.
Kevin Box Lunch.
I'm all about the adult Lunchables right now.
All right, so let's get started. This is Open Walkie. Jeff here, as well as other Jeff.
Canfield, what's up?
Jeff, and we are talking to Kevin Andrew Collins, aka Lunchbox, aka First AC in Local 600, camera op when I need him to be, thankfully, and the smile that keeps on giving. What's up, buddy?
What's happening, guys? Thanks for having me on today. I'm excited, happy to be here.
You're always excited.
I'm always excited. I was up real early this morning.
Yeah, where are you?
Ready for this.
Right? What's early? What's early for you?
I was up at probably 6 a.m. because I fell asleep real early last night, and then I saw your email. I was like, oh shit, I gotta write those answers.
Yeah, I appreciate that. No, we know what we're gonna talk about, but we're basically gonna be talking about you and how you got started, where you are in the business and stuff, and So how did we find you? How did you fall into our laps?
So ever since I was little, I always knew I wanted to be a gangster, And I grew up in Jersey, and then one random day. What?
We're in Jersey.
I grew up in Freehold, so it's about 20 minutes from the shore.
Shout out to the shore.
Yeah, so one of my buddies called me up actually for a summer job when I was 20 years old. And sure enough, that turned into, I showed up to this hotel at this certain time. I was like, all right, what's going on? I had no idea. Walked in, and it was it was in Seaside. And Seaside, to me, it's a very sketchy place. I never go there. So I show up to this hotel. All of a sudden, he's like, go to room 7. I'm like, this is weird. This is really weird. So he's always a sketchy friend. So I show up, walk in, and there's people at desks just typing away. And I was like, I'm Kevin Collins. I'm here for a job. And they were like, here's this paperwork. Fill it out. And so I started filling it out. And when I was done, I was like, all right, I'm done. They're like, okay, you just signed an NDA with MTV, Viacom. If you release any information, you'll get sued. I was like, sued for what? And they were like, here's a walkie-talkie you're going to set. And I immediately was like, what's a set? And they're like, you're a production assistant on Jersey Shore. And I was like, what? And when Jersey Shore first came out, every Thursday night, me and my dad would watch it because we thought it was the funniest show on television. And then this was...
Thanks for watching.
This was their third season is when they called me. I was 20 years old.
What was that?
What's up?
What year was this? Just give people a frame of reference that don't know.
Paint the picture.
Yeah. Tell a story.
What year was it? I don't even know what year that was.
2010, maybe? I'm guessing. I don't know.
Probably 2009.
2009?
2010, somewhere around there.
Yeah, 2010 probably. So all of a sudden I hop in a minivan and they drive me to the Jersey Shore house. And I remember just being there and be like, this is crazy. And then I asked them, I was like, what do I do? And they're like, well, what are you? I'm a production assistant. I'm like, all right, cool. One of the PAs kind of took me in and was like, hey, let me show you around and what your job is to do. I was like, all right, cool. So it was taking out trash, filling up coolers, organizing stuff. So I did the the first sweep of like the house and everywhere of everything to do. And then right next to the house was like the production base camp where like they had a trailer for production and they had pop-up tents for catering. And there was nothing to do. So I sat down and sure enough, over Walkie, I hear someone go, if I see anyone sitting around not doing anything, I'll fire you.
Oh, I know who that was.
Oh, yeah. So all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I was like, wait, what? And then he goes, yeah, you with the blue shirt on. And turn up, it was me with the blue shirt on. I got up as fast as I could. And I was like, what do I do? What do I do? They're like, here, take this broom and sweep the AstroTurf that was put down. So I remember just sweeping AstroTurf in that dirt lot because I didn't want to get fired on my first day as like a PA. And that director, I love that director. He's probably one of my favorite people. But for him to say that to me, I mean, I talk about it to him like after the fact. I was like, hey, remember when you yelled at me for just sitting down? And you'd be like, oh, you should just do that for fun. Because like the Pelcos just were all over the house. So they would just swing them into like where like the catering was.
We're outside, right? They had these outside. So he was like spying on you on your first day.
First day.
Walkie.
And then like sure enough, like the season happens. And you know, that was the first time in my life I had like, that was my actual first real job I've ever had. Before that, that was my first ever real job. So in high school, I played football and sports. So my parents were always like, you know, just concentrate on school, sports, like you don't need a job. I was like, cool, this is great. And then after...
What position did you play?
I played offensive line. I was a center. That was a fun one. So, I mean, before that, I did like deliver pizzas and, worked as like I drove like, you know, moon houses, like the bouncy houses. That was one of my first jobs. I used to like bring them to people's houses and like set them up.
For like bar mitzvahs and sweet 16.
Yeah, kind of like birthday parties and whatnot. But then I remember my first ever PA check of like the 6 days. I got that check at 20 years old and I was like, I'm fucking rich. I don't know about
what was the rate back then?
125 for the day.
125 for 12 or
12 hours. So they told me that they were like, it's 125 plus in 6 hours, we're going to feed you. I'm like, I don't have to pay for it. And they're like, no, it's on us. And I was like, this is the greatest thing of my entire life. I was like, this is great. So I worked at like that summer, which was great. It was a great opportunity, great like thing for me. I met like some people, but I wasn't like, for me, every night I would like have to drive home from work and it was like a 45-minute drive. So I wasn't like staying with because I knew everyone was going out to like the bars and having fun. But I was only 20 and I didn't have a fake ID. So I wasn't gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna stay out with you guys. So I just went home every night. But then the next summer they called me again.
Very disciplined of you.
Yeah, man.
I'm impressed, actually.
I'm also
kind of, I can't think of a kind of like a more, I don't want to say epic because I don't want to make you sound that cool, but it's kind of a more like insane introduction to TV, let alone like reality TV, of that being your actual first job in production.
Yeah.
First ever job in this industry was at 495 working on Jersey Shore. That's when they were huge.
Wait, so your friend, he was already a PA?
Yeah, and he was like, they needed PAs.
So we needed more PAs on the show and stuff.
So he called me.
He called you. Okay.
He called me. He was like, hey, man, you want a summer job? I was like, what is it? He's like, I can't tell you. I was like, this is weird. That's suspicious.
He literally told you nothing. And you showed up to a hotel. And they had paperwork. And you signed it. And then you went to set.
Yeah. So I had
way to run.
Just went for it.
Walk. That's awesome.
I'm a like kind of just go for it kind of person. Just figure it out as it goes. Mm-hmm. So it kind of worked out in my favor. And like, so I was in college then. So I played after I left high school, I went to this small school out in West Virginia to go play football. Got whacked in the head really hard playing football. Got a pretty bad concussion. So like, obviously my grades went down. Also, I was partying. I was away from home. So grades kind of went to shit. So I wanted to be a teacher at first. Then, yeah, because I always wanted, because I wanted to like coach football. I wanted to be a teacher. Like that's what like my life was going towards. And then sure enough, like flunked out of school. And then when I came home for the summer, when I came home, I enrolled in community college. And like my life was planned out to become like a cop. I was supposed to be a cop. I had a hookup. So I was in school for criminal justice. And then summertime comes around when I get that first job on Jersey Shore. They leave. I go back to school. And then the next summer, I'm 21. I'm ready to go. All of a sudden, I get a phone call from one of the coordinators like, hey, is this Kevin Collins? I was like, yeah, what's going on? They're like, oh, hey, it's blah, blah, blah from Jersey Shore. We would love to have you back. And I was like, yes, a summer job at the Jersey Shore, getting paid a ton of money. I can go out to the bars. This is going to be fantastic.
Wait, so sure you went back. Hold on. You went back to like regular life, life back there after I had summer job.
No idea that this was going to.
And you wanted to be a teacher
at first.
And you wanted to be a police officer.
Yeah.
All in between those 2 summers.
Yeah, so it was like a teacher for Jersey Shore, and then Jersey Shore happened.
Oh, then you wanted to be a cop?
Then a cop.
I didn't want to be a cop. It was more or less like I had an in somewhere. So it was like once I finished my associate's degree, I would have went to East Stroudsburg University where my dad went. He had a buddy who had a job as he was second in internal affairs and like head of the SWAT team. He was going to get me in at the jail as like correctional officer because all you needed was an associate's degree. And then I was going to get my bachelor's degree at the college and then go from there. So that's what it was all planned out.
So you would have been
you had a plan. You had an actual plan.
You had a route, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like laid out a little bit.
This was just this was kind of a Hail Mary, like working in this industry. Never looked at cameras, never thought this was a real job. And like, even when I was a PA the first time, I was like, wait, you guys do this all the time? Like, you guys just always do this? And they're like, yeah, this is our life. I'm like, cool. But yeah, the second
we got they came back. So that's
they came back from Italy. So this was season 5. I rented a house with like a bunch of other PAs. It was called the PA Palace. So it's like I just stayed down there. But then like being freshly 21, those bars close at 4 a.m.
Or longer.
Or longer.
I remember going to this bar called Riggers, and after I got off my shift at like 7 a.m.
Well, they closed at 4 and then reopened at 7 a.m.
Oh, right. That's why it was. Yeah, got it.
They were the one bar. They were like the crusty fishermen would go and show up there. So if you had night shift, you would be like at that bar.
It was the crusty fishermen, the crusty night crew.
Yeah, just the insomniac people just walking in like, we just worked all night. Give us some Jameson.
What shift were you? I forget.
I was mornings for sure.
Oh, that's why I didn't really know you, because I was night shift. So I had 4:30 to 5. So I
don't even think I was. I wasn't even a crew PA. I was just I was a runner, because I would always just, because I knew the roads, and like at 21 I was like, I can fucking do. I was like, I'm gonna get back and forth as fast as possible. That was a little
target, and also got us coffee, is what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Just clarify for our limited audience here. You two know each other from Jersey Shore.
Oh yeah, I've known Kevin. I should preface, I know Kevin for a while. I'm just trying to let him tell his story so that everybody could like get to know. But yes, I did shoot the original Jersey Shore.
Whoa, you're a big deal, aren't you?
No. I'm not. I'm not at all. Clearly,
yeah.
But you are. So I mean, we've known each other for a while, but I didn't know him until much later in the season.
Yeah, I think I maybe met you maybe one time. If someone back then would have been like, Jeff Tam, I would have been like, I don't know who that is.
Right.
Because I was so involved with like production, like.
But the thing is, for you, you have good marketing because, you know, everybody knew a guy named Lunchbox. I just didn't personally know you.
So my buddy.
Yeah.
So
tell us where'd that name come from?
Okay, so when I went to college, my roommate was like, "Hey man, what's going on?" Like, he was like, we introduced each other, and he was just like, "What's your name?" I was like, "Kevin." He was like, "You don't feel like a Kevin." And one of my like childhood friends, he would call me like all the Silent Bob nicknames, which is like Lunchbox, tons of fun. So I would told him, I was like, "Yeah, my name's Lunchbox." So during my college, the 1 year in college that I did, one of the guys was from Seaside. He was the one who got me the job. So he knew me as Lunchbox. So over Walkie one day, he was like, "Yo, Lunchbox, can you come over here?" And then a coordinator was like, "What'd you just call him?" And I was like, "Oh, my nickname's Lunchbox." And she goes, "From now on, everyone calls Kevin Collins Lunchbox." So then from that day on, it went lunch. Everyone's calling me Lunchbox. And then it just got short to Box. Now it's just Box. Most people don't even know that it's Lunchbox. They're like, "Oh, it's Box," instead of Lunchbox. Yeah, for me, that was probably one of the coolest experiences of like, you know, starting out on like Jersey Shore, like one of the biggest shows ever for like reality world. And like, for me, it's like, I've only known reality because like that's how I started. Even like now, I've never worked on a feature or a commercial, just strictly reality guy.
Nice.
And
Nice. So after your stint at Jersey Shore, what'd you move on to? Or how long were you like at 495 for?
So I went after Jersey Shore 5. The show was wrapping out. I was helping production wrap out. All of a sudden, I'm at home with my dad, just hanging out. It was like 11 p.m. It was during the summertime still. All of a sudden, I got a phone call from one of my buddies who was one of the PAs on Jersey Shore. And he called me up and he said, "Hey, man," he was like, "Do you want to come out to Long Island right now and come work the next 3 months on this show and stay with us in our hotel room as a PA?" And I was like, "I don't know, man." I was like, in a week, I have to register for classes again to like finish up I was a 1 year away from getting my associate's degree. I was very close. And I'm sitting with my dad, and I remember him asking me, "So what's going on?" I'm like, "Well, my buddy's just offered me like a 3-month job working on another TV show." And my dad was like, "Why don't you just do it?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "You know what? Just figure it." He's like, "I'll help you out along the way if you need help." But he's like, go this way, go this route. I was like, "What about school?" And he's like, "You can always sign up for school again." He's like, "This could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity." And so sure enough, I packed my little 2-door Honda Civic and drove all the way out to Long Island. And that show was Friend Zone for 495. I slept in a hotel room with 4 other grown men as PAs.
You guys were boys.
Yeah.
But so this was like they had a room already and they asked you to.
Yeah, because so they got bumped up to APOCs.
What's an APOC? It's
what is it?
I've never. You know what? To be honest, I only found this out like 7 years ago.
It's assistant
production office coordinator.
There you go.
Right. So got it. I actually did not. I've been in this industry for about 25 years. I only found that out like 7 years ago.
It just sounds like a made up, like a junior camera operator. Like, what the fuck is that? Are you holding a camera or are you not holding a camera?
Whatever you need, dog.
You were in the office most of the time?
What's up? No, I was so for that show, I was actually so it was very mobile because it was like we were shooting like these kids and their love story. My job was to drive a box truck that they turned into like a mobile confessional. And I was like, wait, so what do I do? They're like, just drive to this location and then just stay with the truck. And I was like, all right, for every day? They're like, every day. this is what you're doing. I was like, okay, cool. So I'd worked that for 3 months. And then after that, kind of went in a different direction with, so one of the days on Jersey Shore, this is part of the story. I was sent to one of the clubs during the day because they were building one of the clubs into one of like the reunion sets. And when I went into the parking lot, there was a buddy of mine who was using a table saw with like glue on, which is like a piece of wood that they use to make sets. And he was having a really hard time cutting this piece of wood by himself. And I remember just like being like, hey man, you need some help. So I just kind of walked over because I already knew how to like work table saws. I took art, like wood shop in high school. So I already knew how to like work some of this stuff. So I just walked over, helped him out, did it. And then he told one of the art people who became one of my really, really good friends, like during the whole 2 seasons, this guy, Brian Crabb, my guy, love him to death. But after the Friend Zone show, he hit me up. He was like, hey, do you want to come to Brooklyn as my art PA to help me build Tanisha Gets Married, the girl from the Bad Girls Club? So I would like.
Oh my God, I DP'd that show. Oh.
Did you? God, that show was a nightmare. That, you know, the basement where they
fun for me. Oh.
Well, it was a nightmare for me because it was snowing out, and Jake Leslie, the art director, wouldn't buy a saw. He had me use like a hand saw for cutting wood, and it was like snowing out. I'm outside just hand sawing wood. This was like my first job as an art PA with Crab, and I killed it because after that, Crab asked me, he was like, hey man, do you want to come out to LA and work on building sets with me? And I was like, yeah, but where am I going to live? And he was like, oh, you can live at my place with me. And I was like, I just met you like maybe a year ago. But I was like, all right, cool. Why not? You know, ran it past my parents and they were like, are you sure? I'm like, I guess so. We got to figure this out, you know? And like, sure enough, the day after Christmas, 2011, I flew out to LA. The next day, I worked at Sunset and Gower Lot, building a set for one of the reunions for Jersey Shore. That was like one of my biggest accomplishments ever. Like, it's like my 3rd photo on Instagram is the Hollywood sign from Sunset. I mean, it's a terrible photo. It's black and white. It's horrible. But
could you pull it up? Could you show us right now that photo?
He's got to scroll back like
roll back,
dude. That black and white photo.
Just send it to us. We'll edit it in.
Yeah. Good call.
Scrolling all the way back 20 years or whatever.
But that was like from I remember like going to like Christmas like with like my whole entire family, and then like telling them like, oh yeah, I'm about to move to LA, and then them all being like, to do what? I'm like, build sets. They're like, where are you gonna live? I'm like, this guy who I met. And they're like, do you trust him? I'm like, yeah, kinda. But they're like, that person, they're like, you're out of your mind for like doing this. And like after that, I mean, I've lived in LA now since 2011 and I haven't left yet. So I kind of like it out here.
Left and never looked back.
Well, I can't, you know, I love the East Coast, but I can't stand the cold and the snow. The snow was such.
It's 9 degrees outside. I don't know what you're talking about.
I saw that. I saw the everyone's
posting
80 degrees. Give it a week, dude. Humidity, man. Also don't like humidity. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves.
Did they give you a hand? Did they give you an actual saw, or did you have to hand saw everything when you got to LA?
I think I got an actual saw. I remember that job being they got delivered. You know, like the black flooring they use at the studios?
Yeah.
Forgot what it's called. But we got a whole shipment of it, and it was all warped. And my job was to screw it flat on the floor. They gave me a bucket of 5,000 screws and a screwdriver and a Fernie dolly that I laid on my stomach and just screwing these things down all the way, all over the stage and the floors. I had so much fun. I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
It sounded like a real job,
but it was funny though, because like Crab would walk over, like grab my ankles because I'm laying on my belly, grab my ankles and just like swing me across the floor as I was trying to work. But like, that's like one of my favorite things about this industry is like how much fun you can have with like the people that like you work with. Like even now, like we work on some like serious sets, and like the jokes and the laughter are like the main thing that I'm like, I really love this job. Even though
when I'm not on Walkie yet and I see people laughing on Walkie, I'm like, I got to get my Walkie on because like humor, there's jokes.
I mean, that's the best thing is sometimes it can get a little out of control over the Walkie, which is kind of the best thing ever, especially when everyone's talking shit about the one thing and it's just one after the another. And then all of a sudden, finally, the director's like, guys, come on, I gotta direct the show real quick. And we're like, no, give us a second. We have a few more things to say.
So, RPA, how long were you how long were you in RPA out in LA for? And then,
all right, so it was like 2 weeks. It was like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It was like 2 weeks because
so
then
did that show for 2 weeks and then something
else. Did it for like 2 weeks, and then 495 had that show Friend Zone that I worked on for the 3-month stint. They had it. They were doing it down in where was it? It was in Florida. For their 3rd season, and they wanted me to drive their Mercedes Sprinter van from LA to Florida. And I was like, I just went, okay, cool, which is great. Drove it across country. I remember that's when the Giants beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, because I was in Flagstaff and I had security knocking on the door, and they were like, sir, you got to stop the screaming. I was like, fucking Giants are about to win the fucking Super Bowl. I was going to be quiet the minute they're done. I'm like, let me be. But then when
you drove cross country by yourself?
Yeah.
Did they give you any like supplies or anything like that? Like I didn't know.
They gave me they broke it up into like, they were really cool. They broke it up into like 8 hours. So they would give me like, they had the hotels already paid for. So like it was like 8-hour drives. So it's like, it was cool. I like would take my time, get to hotels, walk around the cities. So they were like, where do you want to stop? I was like, all right, let me stop here. I stopped in Dallas. This was like the first time that I was like, this was the first time that like I ever traveled outside of like, because I was born in Staten Island, grew up in New York. Then like as like a teenager, I was in Jersey, and I never really traveled anywhere. I kind of just, was there. And then I went to that school out in like West Virginia, went to Pennsylvania. But then other than that, LA was the next other spot that I was. And then actually after that trip that I was driving, it's like I started hitting like other states, which was cool for me because I'm a big travel person.
That was a nice push. That was a nice zoom in.
Yeah. How'd that happen?
I don't know. Someone was calling me.
Oh, got it. I got it.
You on your phone or your computer?
No, I'm on my iPad right now.
I saw that when you moved your arms. It actually.
I thought you're like.
Out. You saw that, right?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Like you were moving your arms or something like that, and then like.
That's UCLA's calling me. I'll call them back whenever.
I just got a text from Kelly Beeman.
Hold on, they're calling.
But she sent me a video, but I can't watch it because it's like 30 seconds. He's taking
really?
All right. Is that what we're doing here? All right,
I guess so. I mean, UCLA tell them that their time has passed. Also, that you're on our time.
Yep. All right.
Okay, I have them. I can send them to you.
Video is pretty low quality.
Did you apply for your badge, your master's?
Okay, thank you.
Or PhD.
He's on
no problem.
UCLA extensions. He's getting.
I'm so sorry. So the reason why I had to pick that up, today is my pre-op. I'm getting surgery next week on my ankle. So this is kind of supersedes the podcast. I haven't been working for the last couple of months. I need to get better.
Why don't you tell us about that?
What happened to your ankles? Or your ankles?
Just years of like from playing sports just rolling my ankle a lot. There was an incident on a jet ski one time that was pretty bad.
Oh.
That, and then just years of just rolling it, and it's just being so weak that finally, like this last winter, I don't know if I tweaked it or something, but it got real bad. But when I got the MRI, they're like, this ligament's missing. This one's torn. They were like, you have micro fractures and a bone bruise. And I was like, oh, this is cool. So then once I got the MRI, finally, I found a specialist, and she was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. So next week, they're going to chop me up, get me off back out in the game, because I'm going crazy right now, not working.
So you've been working the last couple of years with a bruised and hairline fractured ankle?
Not hairline. They're like there's like these little tiny ones all over, but that's just from years of, that might not be, but like, yeah, with torn like ligaments and stuff. So like, there's some times where I'm like, oh, my ankle's a little sore today. It's like, it's because of that. Also, so trying to get that all fixed and better.
Shout out to Union Benefits.
Yes. Big shout out to those guys.
Are you getting a robot foot? Like, what's going on?
Oh, I hope. No, they're putting like anchors in and then stretching out the one ligament that's gone and then reattaching it there. And then the inside part of my ankle, they're going to cut it open and see if they can just suture it or if they have to put another anchor in. And then also an ankle scope where they'll actually go into the joint and clear out all the scar tissue and all the stuff that's in there.
And then they're going to put in the microchip, so in case you get lost.
I mean, I get it, dude. Whatever they need to do.
Right.
Oh, we need to get you back out in the field, man. That's good.
I know, me too. I mean,
your health instead of, even though.
Yeah, because I took off from work already, even though it's super slow, just to get this fixed. So it kind of hurt because, Bachelorette, they travel and love to travel. So
yeah, so you caught that travel bug with through this industry, right?
Yeah, so
like road trips and different
so once I started in this industry and finally started working, it's always good to set goals, and one of the goals for myself was to find a show that will pay me to travel around the world and go to cool places. And I got lucky enough to get onto the Bachelor franchise, where in the last 2 years with working with them, I've been to 14 different countries all over the world, which has been probably some of the coolest experiences of my life. But Jeff Tan actually took me to Thailand, where I got to see elephants, because elephants are my favorite. So I always have to thank you for that one.
I've never taken you anywhere.
Why?
I don't know.
You guys have worked together before, though, right?
Yeah.
We have. I met Box on the new version of Jersey Shore Family Vacation. I'm pretty sure that's where I met you. Like a couple of years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It was pre-pandemic, though.
It was definitely pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
I think probably didn't know. Did you do Snook JWoww?
No.
No, I brought Canfield in on the second season of of the Jersey Shore.
It was actually the last week of the first season with pickup shoots.
Last week, yeah, right. Nice.
And it was
it's the show that
it was Memorial Day weekend, and the production manager, I'm not gonna say who it is, called me all panicked, and he's like, "I need someone this weekend," and then he's like, "This is the rate." I was like, "That's not my rate." I was like, "It's also a holiday weekend, so."
Yeah, no, dude, I get it. I mean, when I first started, I was always a yes guy, no matter what the rate was. Well, also, all right, so. When I was a PA, one of the days I got to be a crew driver for a crew where it was a B-roll day. So it was just me and the camera operator, where we went out and shot B-roll around Jersey, which was great. We went to lunch, and he hit me with a question like, hey, what do you want to do in this industry? And I was like, I don't know. He was like, are you going to PA forever? I was like, I don't think so. But he's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I kind of want to be a producer because I can talk to people. I'm really good talking to people. And then I was like, well, I kind of like cameras. I kind of like cameras too. And he's like, all right, let me break it down to you. He's like, producers work 24/7. They work when the show, before the show starts, during the show, and when the show's over, they are working 24 hours, no overtime. Most of the time, they don't get to eat while they're at work. But he's like, in that path, it's going to take you longer, but you can make more money at the end as like an executive producer. But he told me the breakdown of, he was like, camera operator, you can make this amount of money, but he was like, we kind of cap out at a certain mark. If you can work 365 at like a certain amount of money, you'll hit a top tier. It's still great money though. And then I was like, once he hit me, because I was like, well, how much do you make? And he was like, from like 600 to 850 a day. My jaw hit the floor, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. And then he was like, well, start telling everyone you want an AC. Start asking questions. So, I never cared about if someone, like as a PA, like I didn't care if you were an executive producer or someone, like, I'll just come over and chat with you. Like, I'll be like, hey, how's your day going? Like, they'd be super busy and they're like, the fuck away from me. Like,
I got to interrupt you, dude. So normally what you just said drives me absolutely fucking crazy.
I could feel it. I
hate PAs or like someone else is just like, what do you do? How much money you make? I want to do that. Like any AC that I will want to teach, it's because they're interested in camera department, learning about cameras. But for some reason, I don't give a shit because I like you. And just
I think
he's changed. Obviously, before he was AKA if the money's right, but like,
right.
But like, you still are.
100%. But like, the person who I was out to lunch with, like he was one of the coolest, Chris Walker.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, Walker.
So it was Chris Walker. So Chris Walker, I worked the Friend Zone show, and like that show was like a very, very small crew. And he liked me. I'm a very likable person. So I just sometimes there's no filter that comes out of my mouth, but he knew that I knew nothing about television and whatnot, that I was just this young, bright-eyed kid, like, oh, cool. Tell me, what do you need me to do? I'll go do that. I'll go do whatever you need me to do. I'm your guy. So
you are good. Yep.
So that was like, and then once I kind of fell into, ACing and going camera side, like the people who like I've worked with over the years have just been the coolest because I don't care about stupid questions. I'll just ask them like, hey, what's this? What's this? What's that? What's this? And then most people are so cool about like, all right, this is this because of this. And this is this. Because like I'm the same way now when I meet like a younger kid who wants to know something about the camera. I'll be like, yeah, come over here. Let me show you. Like, this is what this does. Because also for me, that reaffirms like, oh shit, I do know what I'm doing. Because I came from no camera background to where I'm at now, which I'm like, holy shit, I've learned so much over the years. And I'm able to, put shit together and make things work. Nice. My favorite's like when we're like building cameras and sets and, it's like a low budget. It's just trying to figure out things of how to make things work.
Solve problems.
Yeah, like on the fly though. It's like, how can we do this? And like my mind is like, do this, 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 and this. And they're like, oh, I can't believe that worked. I'm like, it's not that safe, but we'll make it work.
Nice. Well, so then now would you consider yourself more like, I don't know, is this more of is it more of an interest and more of like a genuine interest now rather than just like I'll go this way? Like, do you like, because you've learned a lot and you're basically a career AC pretty much now, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Am I wrong?
I believe so. I mean, it changes every now and again. Like there's sometimes where, like when we just did that shoot and I shot for the first time in like 2 years, I was like, oh shit, maybe I do still love this. But then, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I'm a career I see at this point. I'm going for the healthcare at the end of the tunnel, the pension at the end of the tunnel, trying to collect all. What?
What was it?
Put your 20 years in.
That's the goal right now. The goal right now is that this healthcare is real good. So
it is good.
How long have you been in the union?
I've been in the union for 5 years.
Nice. I just hit my 15th year last week.
Saw that. Congrats, man.
Yeah, thanks. You do way more union work than me now. I'm kind of jealous because I'm not under the union health plan, and like you said, it is pretty good. I've shopped around.
It's real good. I mean, I'd never had health insurance until a couple of years ago when I got this. That was like one of the best feelings of like getting that 600 hours and being like, holy shit, I have health insurance. This is great. I'm going to the doctors. So that's one of the coolest.
That's important for freelancers. We could talk a whole day about that. Healthcare, pensions, all that. Maybe we'll save that.
Healthcare or like the lack of healthcare. Yeah, that's a subject all in itself. But good for you, man. That's awesome.
I was stoked to see you connect with the Bachelor family because I know a lot of people that work on that show, and I thought that was like a really good show for you to work on.
I'm pretty excited that they keep calling me back.
Yeah.
Every time, and like I'm so new over there. I mean, there's some people who've been there for like 15 years, and they're like, I'm just so happy to be there, especially when we travel. I'm like, this is like one of the coolest things was we shot at the Rembrandt Museum in Amsterdam. And when I went there for my first ever real vacation, Amsterdam was our first stop with me and my buddies. And I went to the Van Gogh exhibit and I loved it. I was spending like almost 3 hours there. And then when I left, I tried to go to the Rembrandt Museum and they were closed. And that was our like only day there. So I was really bummed out. And then one of the days we just pull up to the museum. I had no idea we were going there because, I don't cruise over the call sheet. I just I'm like, wherever we're going, we're going. I'm in. And then we show up there and it was our own personal museum. Like there was no one else standing around the paintings. I remember like on the verge of crying how happy I was to be there. And we were there for like, the setup was like 2 hours before the cast showed up. So, once I had my cameras sticks and cameras set up, like I was just walking around the museum. I remember getting yelled at because I kept going into like closed doors we weren't supposed to, where they were like, if they went over Walkie and I just heard, hey, if there's anyone in any rooms that are closed doors, please don't walk in there. And then like a security guard came and grabbed me and he was like, hey man, you can't be going into rooms. I'm like, dude, I saw you guys have a Van Gogh exhibit. I just want to see it. And he was like, all right, I'll take you there. But he's like, stop walking into rooms. I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, we have like over $2 billion worth of paintings in this place. I was like, oh, all right. But like for me, I was just in awe of like, one, I'm getting paid. And then two, I'm like there by myself in this environment that I never ever thought I would ever get to be in. So I always like count my blessings, even though everyone has their bad days. Like, fuck this industry. I don't want to do this shit no more. But then like cool things like that happen, and I'm just like,
there's one shoot I had on The Bachelor too when I was like a camera op and stuff, and we did a night at the museum at the Natural History Museum here in New York, and it was at night. I think we did a night shoot at like 10 or 11. It was like everything was dark. It was on dark on purpose because they needed them to like wander around. And I was like, while we were waiting for them to arrive, I was just walking around the dinosaur bones and like things like that by myself. Like, yeah. So like that, yeah. Those, even though it's like here at home, I could just go there anytime. It was like those moments that make you grateful, I feel.
Yeah, especially we don't have like all the randos walking around that make it the worst.
Yeah,
the worst.
Right. You think that The Batch is like your favorite, or Bachelor, Bachelorette is like your, the so far, like the best thing that you've done so far? Do you have a favorite show?
My favorite show is the show that you directed, the Action Bronson show that we shot in LA.
Not Thailand.
No, Thailand was cool after the fact, but I'm talking the Action Bronson show. Even
the
though
Ancient Aliens.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we did a shoot in LA, Canfield. It was Action Bronson. It was the second season of Action Bronson Watches Ancient Aliens.
With friends.
It's just
I thought you did a shoot in Brooklyn too.
I did. That was his Untitled show. It was like a variety show. I directed that show. Okay. It was like a cooking performance, like anything kind of show. But this was just his original like OG like stoner show where him and his boys watch Ancient Aliens and smoke up. And I was like, it would be great to work on this show.
I mean, like one of the days Jeff put me in a green screen suit that was way too small for me. We're like the only way.
Let's cut to that.
So the only way that it would fit was it did. I put it on, but the back was completely open. So the only way for it to work on screen is if I crab walked onto the fucking set. So
the context is that they sit on a couch in front of this green screen, and we project what they're watching behind them. That was the whole concept of the show, because we kept it lo-fi like that.
I think I've actually seen a clip of that.
Right. So like there are certain things that needed to go on set, or like, Action just wanted to go, and sometimes things weren't working in the frame. So I had Box wear we found this green screen hooded where only his face was showing. So in order
it was completely not even the face was showing. It was just the green screen, like, man.
Oh yeah, that with the hood, right? Yeah. But he had to walk like sideways for it to move something.
There's a clip of me because you were like hand one of the guys the camera. So I'm holding the camera and I'm walking like crab walk this way to him and hand it to him. But I remember
we're gonna have to put that in there somehow.
I gotta find that somewhere. I mean, I totally forgot about that show. Thanks for reminding me.
So one of my favorite days ever is one of the guys didn't show up. So Jeff just was like, "Yo, we're gonna impose his face onto your face using the green screen." So he's like, "Just put the mask on." And the guest was Cypress Hill, and I had my walkie on, and he was like, "Go sit next to Alchemist." Alchemist is one of the coolest fucking people ever.
He's a producer. Yeah.
So I went and sat next to him, and Jeff goes, "Yo, ask Alchemist to smoke his joint." So I remember tapping Alchemist, like, "Yo, let me hit that." And he was like, "Oh, Body, you left your whole blunt here in this ashtray." And he handed it to me, and I lit it up and started smoking it. And it's funny to me because like a couple of other camera operators from my buddies were taking photos, and they could just see me smoking. And every time I blew out, the smoke
was wild. That was a wild.
Out of the mask.
For more context, it wasn't just like a free for all like that. So like the show was a stoner show, but like you couldn't tell Action what to do. So if he and his boys wanted to smoke on set, they smoked on set, and it was a liability, whatever. But like that was left to the lawyers. So we just went within and rolled with it. One of his best friends, who politely I would say has the same body shape as Box, didn't show. So I just told Box to wear this full-faced green screen hood. So you didn't see his face, you just saw his body, and go sit with them. And then we just put his face on, and everywhere he went.
Okay, so that's the context.
That's the context. And of course, on the couch, they were smoking, and Box had his Walkie in his ear. I'm just like, hey, just act natural and do your thing. And he did, and it was great. And he got to meet Cypress Hill and act like he was one of Action Bronson's boys. And we got a lot done that day, I feel.
Always. We're always getting things done, but still having fun, which is my favorite.
It was, I won't name, obviously won't say the production company or where we were shooting that because, whatever, because it was a liability. But this was years ago, like 2016 or 2017. But the fact that Action was doing that in a closed sound stage, he basically like hotboxed all of us.
Hotboxed
hot box boxed, and all of us, because there was definitely some days, dude, where I was directing on set, cameras were on set, and there were days where I'd be like, all right, pan right, and there'll be a moment, and then a slow pan right, because everybody, and then eventually my thinking started slowing down because there was just so much stuff in the air, and the entire crew, I could tell, was just riding that wave.
It was great.
Great. It was great. It was a great job. It was actually quite cake, and I kind of want to do more of those. Thanks for
Me too.
That was a good story.
My brain just slowed down listening to that story.
I mean, can you imagine the clouds?
I
remember there was times where we had to turn on like a big fan and open up the doors to get smoke out.
Well, we had to watch. The thing is, we could only do that for some reason. We could only do that when like the security guard went for a walk, or when the fire marshal wasn't there. So open it up. And this was before, like, was weed legal in LA already?
Yeah,
it was
long time.
That's why.
Yeah, right, it's LA.
Yeah, but also
everything was legal.
Yeah, it was legal.
There's no rules. There's no rules anymore.
Literally, we'd open up the barn doors of this soundstage, and all this smoke just came out. And then we'd realize, oh my God, we've been standing in this the entire time. But no wonder I feel a little hungry. Yeah, man. So that was your favorite show, eh? Thanks, man. I appreciate that. That was.
I mean, yeah. The shows that I work with you are some of my favorite shows. So
we gotta do more of those.
I mean,
what's your least favorite show? Don't say the name of the show, but give an example, maybe.
Yeah. What did you absolutely not like? Like made you regret getting off that beach all those years ago?
Probably the one that we did together in Thailand.
The one that we did at that time at that place. All right, we can't name too much of this stuff. It was a travel show. It was a travel show.
The deciding factor was one of the first nights we went out to that restaurant, and I was left with the AC for 6 cameras by myself, and the whole monitor situation. And I was like, I knew what I was signing up for, but I was like, this isn't for me, guys. This isn't. I was like, it's only 7 days, and this was the first day. I was like, oh no. Here we go.
There was a show that I would say that we did that was very understaffed and undersold, and there was a lot of technical issues and problems and stuff like that.
We don't need to go into detail.
But now we know. We just we worked on a show, on the best shows, and we worked on the worst shows that we.
There's certain situations for shows, but like the ones for me is when it's understaffed and overworked, especially my position as an AC, because I'll get phone calls for shows and they'll be like, you're going to AC for 2 cameras. And then I show up and it's, the 2 main bodies. And then they're like, here's 14 GoPros. Here's a Ronin. Here's a slider. Here's all these cameras. And it's like, hold on, you're paying me I was on the impression that this was 2 cameras.
Do you get that a lot these days?
Well, now since for working so long, I ask questions now. I'm like, so it's two main bodies. I'm like, how many GoPros? How many other cameras are we using? Am I dealing with lights? Do I have to deal with the lights and the packages with lights? I'm like, I always ask more questions now, because that when I ask more questions, that's easier for me to get a rate that I want.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then usually they're like, well, we can only do this much. And I'm like, I got someone perfect for you. He's just getting into the industry. He's a go-getter. He wants it. But for me, for my experience, you're paying for my experience. I know how to deal with all these things at once, where all of a sudden you're going to be like, hey, are we ready? And it's only going to be, I need 2 more minutes. I need only 2 more minutes. And that's just me just finalizing everything for us being ready to shoot. So, I mean, that takes years of experience, which I've learned. But, sometimes you can't win them all when they hit you with a low rate and you're like, sorry, I can't do it. The tough part is when one of your buddies calls you and you want to make them look good all the time. And then they hit you with the rate and you're like, oh, I'm like, you know what? I'll do this one. I'll do this one for you. The next one, you gotta hook the boy up. You pick and choose your battles, you know?
Yeah. And it's good that you've learned that much through your experience in the industry now, that you know how to ask those questions and that you're more educated. And you've educated yourself on this, you know what I mean? Rather than just like flying by the seat of your pants.
Yeah, just be like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it for sure,
Right.
for sure. I mean, because
I feel like we've all been through that. Like all of us have been through that at one point of our early in our careers. We just want to get onto a set and we're just like, sure, I'll do it as long as I get my foot in the door. But like, you know, we're pretty much veterans now, so it's good to know your word.
Yeah, that. And also, like, for anyone who's starting out, who's listening, don't put all your eggs into one basket. Make sure you have avenues of work elsewhere. Like me, I started out at, like, 495, and they had me consistently working for probably 6 years, where like I went from a PA to an AC to AC junior op within like 2 years, which was incredible. Which was like, I mean, I was a PA on Friend Zone season 1 and 2. Then I was an AC on 3 and 4, and then I was the junior op on 5, and that was like within a span of like 3 years. So I mean, I had a lot of people who were like, they helped me out and they wanted me to succeed, which was great. It was a great experience. Like, sure. I learned how to shoot a single camera on that show by myself as like a kid who never picked up a camera before. I mean, the first time I ever picked up a camera, I shot a scene. So I shot a scene before I even shot B-roll. I didn't even know really what B-roll was or how to like, shoot a good shot.
Did anybody guide you on it? Or like not even just that scene, but like, did anybody guide you as you were going through like your growth?
Yeah, the director on it, he kind of just put me underneath his wing and showed me how to light, so he took me, so I remember when they asked me to be the junior op on the season 5, I knew I wasn't ready at all, but I was like, I'm not going to turn this down. I'm like, I'm just going to go for it, whatever. So, we did a week in LA and then we were going to travel. So they put me on B-roll so for that show, there are two groups that we shoot in like 3 days. So the first day they split up into 2 different teams where it's single camera. And then the next day we shoot like the big thing with all the cameras. And the next day we shoot the other couple, all the cameras. So that first week I was on B-roll. And at the end of the week, the DP and the director watched all my B-roll, and it was terrible. It was awful. Ask Walker about it. Walker will tell you how terrible it was. I remember they pulled me off to the side at like the end of the week. We were about to shoot like the scene. Like I was able to shoot like scene work really well. I'm a fucking rock solid dude. Like,
yeah.
I know how to shoot. But my B-roll was not there. And they were like, hey, the director was like, hey, I thought you were like 75% of a camera operator. He's like, you're about 25%. And I remember like my heart dropping into my stomach and be like, oh my God, I need this job. Please don't fire me. Like, I've been like here, like I'll go back down to AC. And he was like, no. He was like, when we go on the road, he's like, you're going to be with me the entire time. And he's like, I'm going to have you shoot single camera the entire time. So like for the 3 months, by the end of the 3 months, so at first we would walk through like either like the kid's house where we're shooting and be like, I would put this light here. I put this light here. This is where I would shoot it. And then he would show me like, go into a single. All right, now where you're moving, come out to a wide. All right, go back into a single. So he like taught me. And then by the second like month of it, he'd be like, go light it. I would go light the scene. He would come and be like, all right, this is what I would have done different, all this stuff. And then by the third, he would just have me light it. And he would just sit in the control van with the monitor and just let me shoot it. And then
he fully trained you.
Fully trained me.
I think I know this guy. His name's Lucas, right?
Yeah, Lucas Mertez.
Yeah, shout out to Lucas Mertez because you know what, Fox, like he actually did the same to me when I was coming up. Like,
yeah, I love that guy.
That's how small this industry is. Like the guy who took me under his wing and gave me a chance as an AC, and then invited me out to AC for him in LA when I've never been to LA either. And I did that show. He did the same. He like would on the job training, he'd like let me do it, give me notes, and then see if you correct it. And if you weren't like down for that, then he wouldn't deal with you. So like,
I mean, I'm such a coachable person. I played sports. I'm a coachable. You tell me you show me how to do something, I'm going to pick it up like that. So like him doing that for me, I was like, oh, I get it. I'm like, oh, when you move, come out to a wide so you're not as like, the shakiness.
Right. That's a good foundation to have. Shout out to Lucas. I hope he's
well. Shout out to Lucas. I don't know if we were dropping names or whatnot, but yeah, Lucas.
I mean, when it's good. Yeah.
That's a good shout out to give. So
yeah, exactly. Even if
I like that story. I like that you had someone teach you that, because
that's good.
But like,
I know you kind of answered it, but what piece of advice would you give a younger you or a younger person, like, in one or two sentences?
Yeah. Okay. So it's like, don't put all your eggs in one basket, because that screwed me. Like, that's what I was getting into. Like, it screwed me over big time, because like 495 went out on a hiatus for like 2 years. So I had zero work. I lost all my money, was about to move out of LA. Thank God I have, shout out Austin Rock for hooking it up and saving me, which he basically put me up for like 2 years and then helped me join the union to get work. So that's my guy.
Shout out to Austin Steadicam.
Yeah, big Steadicam guy. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Also the networking and just talking to everyone. It's a big part of this game. Big part. Because also, like, some people who, like, I'm friendly with everyone. Well, that's like one of my main things is you never know who's going to hit you up one day and be like, hey, I have this job for you. So like for Bachelor, Justin Remillard was the one who basically wanted me to be his AC on one of the Betty seasons. So one of the things was I worked with him on Housewives of New York. When it was after Summer House. Pepin was the one who put me in for the job. But then Justin Remillard was like, I don't know, because of Box's history, because I used to be kind of a party guy, crazy person. He didn't really want me. And then he wound up said, okay, fine, hire him. We worked 3 months. He loved me. He got me onto that. So you never know, like, who you're going to meet and how it's going to work out.
But with that, though, like, you just, you hinted on something where, like, you never know who you're going to meet and how, to approach people, but your reputation in the past definitely does stick with you depending on what. I mean, it's good that Justin gave you that chance, because I guess you showed potential through somebody's recommendation.
Yeah.
But it definitely was in the back of his head beforehand. So,
Well, because he told me even first day, he goes, you fuck up. He's like, I'll fire you. And I told him, I'm not the same kid that you knew when I was 21. I'm right. Like, I'm a completely different person now. I'm very professional. This is my job. This is what I want to do. Now, thank God, it's really nice that professional box is killing the game.
Professional box
is real good. But then, when I was a PA,
I met a professional box once.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
So like on Bachelor, one of the directors, Brian Steimel, great guy.
Love this guy. I'm trying to get him on. We got
to get him on. Pressure him.
I am, but they're traveling for another month, anyways. But yes, shout out to Steimel.
So he's one of the directors on like Betty Bachelor, and I was his camera crew PA on one of their jerseys, and like that's how I got to meet him. He met me as like that 20-year-old like bright-eyed kid. I remember, we're in the club shooting, and I'm like, he would ask me for stuff. I bring my phone. You know how Simon is.
Yeah.
But then being on The Bachelor one day, and he saw me, he was like, Lunchbox? I was like, what's up, man? And he was like, you're on this? And then we worked that. And then I remember one of my last days, I was actually going to the airport, getting the elevator, and he was in there. He was like, hey, man, I just want to let you know you did a great job this season. He's like, everyone loves you. I was like, cool, man. I would love to come back and work on it. And then sure enough, when a lot of people like you, they kind of bring you back. So I'm really lucky in that aspect.
I mean, that's awesome. Steinmel, I don't know if anybody knows Steinmel, Brian Steinmel was the OG DP of Jersey Shore. So like the way that kind of like show movement and the way they wanted to cover it and the look, he kind of set that look from season 1 to like 3, I think. And then they just like, he went on to bigger and better things. And, we just kind of took that over. But like, yeah, shout out to Steinmel. That's awesome, dude. Yeah. So good advice to the people coming up and you giving them hope from especially down if you weren't planning on this career, you're
you kind of just fall into it.
Cop, AC,
no football anymore.
No more football.
You wanted to be in the Army at one point though, right?
As like a kid, man. I'd play like Army man around the house. My grandpa was in the Marines, so I was like, I want to be a Marine.
And your dad played football.
Yeah, my dad played like semi-pro and was on he was on the Eagles for 2 years.
Nice.
Practice.
His dad's got a great name too, by the way.
Dude, Phil Collins, man. Phil Collins.
I know that. I remember. I remember. I think that's when I realized your last name. I was like, dude, because I literally met you as Box, only called you Box. Then I saw you. I don't know. You told me your name, and then you're like, my dad's name's Phil Collins.
Shout out to Phil Collins.
Shout out to Phil Collins, man, the OG.
Nice. Where do you see yourself like moving on then? Because you've come up, from the beaches of the Jersey Shore to all the way to LA, and now you're a union guy. You're a union AC. With healthcare. I don't know. What do you want to do? Maybe you don't have a specific goal, but like
I don't. So my thing is, I don't have I kind of play everything like day by day, kind of, because it's still so crazy to me that I'm still here doing all this. But right now, it's obviously I want that pension and that healthcare after 20 years and 20,000 hours of work. But you never know. You never know what else lies out there and opportunities. I'm an opportunistic opportunity. I can't
That's
say
a word.
It. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Wait, so like even though you're just gonna fly, you may go somewhere else. You may try like a different like avenue, or you think you're gonna stay in camera? I mean, obviously no pressure, but like
I think I'm gonna stay in camera for right now. I mean, if maybe one day my golf game gets just like real good, I'll join the pro tour playing golf. But
as the open,
dude, as of right now, I think I'm here in the camera film industry, which is
riding the wave, dude. You're just
that's it, just riding the wave.
Do you see yourself moving up to an op, or are you in like the career AC route? Because even union rates and ACs and stuff like that are pretty comparable. So
it's a pretty good. I actually had this conversation with someone the other day, and for me, the scary part is always I've made so many connections in this avenue. Like I've made it this far here, like where I am now, to just give it all up and switch into camera operating, and then having to basically not start all over again, but, put that grind back into it. Because, you need the connections to, and the people to be like, oh yeah, he's a camera operator. Like I have people who know me that I can shoot,
sure,
but it's not as many as I want to be like, oh, I want to be a camera operator. But I don't think.
So you're looking at it practically, which is smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at it strategy-wise.
Yeah, I'm looking at it like I got bills to pay, and I like nice things, and I've kind of made it. I've made it the career at this point. But it can all change.
Yeah, you think about going into like you said you've never been on worked on a film set or like scripted or anything like that. You feel like you would do like that would interest you as like a second or first AC.
Yeah, I think first ACing would be an avenue that I would pursue. The prank show that me and Jeff did was the first time I got to pull focus on a camera. And I remember thinking how cool it was to do that. So I know with those jobs it's more, like pulling focus for me is actually an interest of mine, which I know is a big thing of being a first AC.
It's the main thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's the main thing. So that would be. I'm open to it.
Do you have any like
that's
fantasy?
Good, man.
You have any like fantasy goals? Not even just in career, but in life.
I started writing a script for the first time ever.
Nice.
Never thought in a million years that I could ever put my thoughts onto paper, and I actually got an episode done. I'll send it to you. It's pretty terrible, but I'll send it to you. But it was it was something that like I've always thought about. Like maybe I can like put a little something like funny together and use like what I like as an interest and make it happen. So that's something I'm looking at now. Because like I tell everyone, I'm like, I'm an idea person through and through. I got ideas for days. So I finally put pen to paper and kind of made it happen, which is it's pretty funny. But
oh man, totally forgot about our restaurant idea. You just reminded me. We're in a crew van one day when you and I came up with a restaurant idea using your name called Big Box's House of Munch.
Oh, was that's the one we were going to buy that diner in
There's an abandoned diner in the Jersey Shore.
We were driving past it. Yeah.
One day we'll bring it to LA.
You can still do that.
Yes, that'll be our fallback.
Yeah, open up a restaurant somewhere. 100%. I mean, I'm a front of house person all day.
Yeah, welcome everybody in.
And then I'll go back and cook.
Right, you do everything, right?
I'll do everything.
I'll put up the money and sit back.
Hey, that's big money guy right here. Big money guy.
Nice. All right. So that's that, so no, so that, moving on probably to scripted or whatever, riding that wave and everything like that.
I'm ready. It's all about whoever's offering me a job, like where the next job is. And if someone's like, hey man, I got this first AC job, you want to do it? I'll be like, absolutely. Count me in. I'm down.
Cool. All right.
I like that.
That's awesome, dude. What other war stories you got for us? You got a little bit more time. We're not pressed.
I'm trying to keep it PG.
You PG-13, just no harm.
Yeah, PG-13 is fine. I think you only said fuck 3 times, and that's the limit for PG-13.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's pretty good.
You can only say 3 times somewhere.
Let's see. Let me go through my years. So I told you about the beginning. I told you about the 495 craziness stories. Well, so 495 is shout out to them, by the way, because they made me kind of who I am. All the crazy antics. Those people who I met there are still my best friends to this day. I have friends that I've known now for over 10 years because of that, which is a crazy experience. They're my people. They're my family. So shout out to all them. But being like 24, 25, making adult money in these locations and basically no rules about anything kind of is like a surreal experience of like, I remember we were in Dominican Republic for a show. They put us at this beautiful resort where everyone got their own golf carts. And they were gas golf carts. And some of us know how to pull the governors on them and whip them around, this beautiful resort. We're all 20-something-year-old children, adult children's, which for me, the life experiences that I've had so far have been the coolest things that I can ever imagine. So it's fun. It's fun telling some people stories of like the places I've been, the things that I've done, and them just be like, "Wow, that's crazy." I'm like, "Oh yeah."
You think I gave you a different perspective on life, especially when
because I don't think I could ever have been like a behind the desk kind of person.
You would have been a cop.
That's out in the world, though.
Right.
But
right.
Who knows if I would have been a good one or a bad one? Who knows?
You're honest, man.
Dude, I'm so honest. Who knows? Power's a crazy thing. Give someone a little bit of power, and you don't know what they're gonna do with it.
Hey man, can you just pull over, please?
My thing is, I was gonna be like, "Yo, you got anything in the car? Just give me it, and I'll let you go." And then I was
okay. So you're a dirty cop. All right, cool.
100%. Oh, it fell off the back of the truck.
So this industry kind of turned your life for the better, I feel.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this industry, like, I don't think I would have ever left the country. I don't think I ever would have went down to Mexico, to Cabo.
Left Jersey even.
You'd be in New Jersey still? You think you never would have left New Jersey?
Probably Jersey, New York, or Pennsylvania. It's either the tri-state. I think I would have been stuck there. Probably. That's what I think it would have been. Which is fine. I love that place. Love it. But now that I get to see the world as it is and get to embrace different cultures and meet people, I've been to Paris, I've been to Amsterdam, I've been to London. London was great. I just recently went there. I've been to Budapest. I've been to Tallinn, Estonia. I've been so many places, and I'm so grateful of it and the experiences.
What was the most random place that you've ever been?
I mean, I've been to some weird places in the South, like Biloxi, Mississippi.
Oh, okay. So in America.
Yeah.
So the weirdest places are in America.
I mean, for an American, for sure. If I going to a random town in Europe is still going to be awesome to me because it's Europe. But sure. But it's we're going to go spend 3 months in a place called Biloxi, Mississippi. I wasn't this is going to be the greatest time of my life.
Right.
Even though I had a great time there, they had casinos. I won a bunch of money. It was fantastic. But,
right.
But yeah.
What did you do in Biloxi? What was Biloxi?
Party down south.
Oh. Got it. Okay. I mean, it's its own world, right? That's why they shot down there.
Yeah, I mean,
once again, with your best friends, apparently, right? That same company.
Yeah, that company. Yeah, we went to a lot of, southern places for some things. I've been to especially with 495. I've been to a bunch of different states, which I think I'm only missing I'm missing Hawaii, Alaska, Maine, and North and South Dakota. I'm missing 5 states.
North and South Dakota, I think you're good without that, I feel.
I mean, I'm getting a little more country now. I've been listening to country music, so you never know.
I mean, I drove through there on a cross-country drive, and it's beautiful. But I was like, I don't think I need to come back. No offense to anybody in North South Dakota.
No offense. No offense to anyone who lives in those places.
What about Mount Rushmore, though? Is that in North or South Dakota? It's one of the Dakotas.
Who cares?
Oh, dang.
I'm kidding.
George Washington's gonna come visit you.
That kind of stuff.
It's funny you said that. I can actually see you living in the South. I can see you living in Nashville or something.
Dude, Florida.
He's hipster enough now to live in Nashville.
Dude, Florida. I'm a Florida man through and through.
Are you?
Yeah, I like Crocs. Crocs, wearing Crocs and fucking Best Pro Shop hats and shit.
Every time oh jeez.
Okay, all right.
Already there. I'd get worried if you did, because every time I'd see a headline that says Florida man, I'd be like, is it box?
My parents live down there, so that's the only reason why I'd go there. Also, they play golf. You can play golf year round.
Dude, you love golf. You have to teach me how to play golf. I told you I was interested in that. I just never.
Yeah, dude, come on, we'll whack some balls, baby. Give me.
Next time you come here.
Give me. I need 8 weeks probably before I'm able to swing a club. So.
Oh yeah. Okay. Before we wrap up, I want to wish you good luck on your surgery.
Oh, he's got to go somewhere. We had some time. He got to go somewhere. We're leaving. He wants.
Yeah, I gotta go.
I'm going out of town this weekend, so.
He's got to cut the podcast short because he's got to go on vacation.
Wait, where are you going?
Dude, it's 2.5 hours away. It's not really vacation. We're just going upstate. We both need to get out of the city for a minute, me and my girlfriend.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
She took the day off of work. So like.
Where are you staying? What's the address?
Let us know. Let everybody know.
Let the people know.
No, it's just in the woods somewhere upstate.
That's nice.
Somewhere secluded with no cell service and no GPS.
Yeah, no GPS.
Well, other than like last thing, like I guess like other than the, you've made some friends and like, lifelong friends, best friends and stuff through the industry. Besides that, like, is there any, like, what do you love about this industry that keeps you in here? Besides, obviously besides the travel and the camaraderie, is there anything else?
I think the travel's huge. Yeah. Travel is absolutely huge. Travel's huge. Also, one thing to touch on with obviously saying like the union, being a union AC with the rate at what it is for some of the shows,
nice,
makes it a lot easier to stay at AC because it's still, I'm making good money being a union AC instead of sometimes breaking your back and being like, I see some people, I'm like, you look miserable for an extra $100 more. I'm like, I'm sitting playing on my phone and you're breaking your spine.
Right.
Love you guys though. You guys are the best though.
Thanks. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for taking the time out. Hope the ankle heals well, but I'm gonna stop. We could stay on for a second, but like I'm gonna get
cool box. Later, box.
Thanks for having me.